very much, Mr. Speaker, for according me an opportunity to vehemently oppose this report that has been brought on the floor of this House by the Special Committee. I don't want to spend a lot of time thanking them because my colleagues have spoken to them. As a very young legislator, Mr. Speaker, of this House, I have taken time to go and read and interact with the library of this House, Mr. Speaker. And one of the very quotable quotes that I would want to quote today, Mr. Speaker, is a quote that was made in 2014 by a very distinguished senator of Homa Bay, the first senator of Homa Bay, Gerard Otieno Kajwang, during the impeachment motion of the deputy governor for Embu, Dorothy Nditi. The good senator for Homa Bay said, I want to quote him, that a deputy governor, it is more difficult to divorce a deputy governor than to divorce a wife, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, we should not and we cannot take advantage of the instruments of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, to settle political scores and for political expeditions, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, even as we speak the many things that are being spoken about here, it begs the question, how long has the deputy governor been in power? How long has the deputy governor been the deputy governor of Siaya? Just 9 months ago, Mr. Speaker, the accusers of this gentleman, the deputy governor of Siaya, Mr. Speaker, were merrymaking with him when they were campaigning, and they were very, very happy moving around with him. And just 9 months later, out of issues that I don't want to speak about because they are not part of the report, Mr. Speaker, we are now here for an impeachment. But, Mr. Speaker, I understand where the senator for Kiambu is coming from. An impeachment is not just any other motion that we speak about on this House, Mr. Speaker. Once you have been successfully impeached, Mr. Speaker, because we must understand what are we speaking about. We might destroy the life of a person who otherwise would have been a very innocent person, because once you are impeached, Mr. Speaker, the law is very clear. You can never occupy any other office, Mr. Speaker. I have heard my very distinguished colleagues, and it is in the report, page 92, Mr. Speaker, that one of the charges against the deputy governor, Mr. Speaker, is issues to do with procurement, Mr. Speaker. Indeed, in the report, page 35 to 43, because one of our senators was accusing us of not having read the report, it is speaking about issues to do with disjointed procurement in Siaya, Mr. Speaker. Reading section 47(1) of the Public Procurement and Disposal Act, Mr. Speaker, a procurement function shall be handled by the procurement professionals whose qualifications are recognized in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, if then we are speaking about, and our colleagues have spoken here, if, Mr. Speaker, we are speaking about...
what is your point of order,
I hope my time
is... Save the time, the remaining time for Senator Methu, please.
2 minutes.
Senator Edu.
Mr. Speaker, I seek your indulgence on this issue because we are in a very serious issue. And Mr. Speaker, my point of order is point of order 104. If Senator Methu might sit, Mr. Speaker, the fact that I'm seated, I'm taking the floor. Mr. Speaker, point of order number 104 says a senator who wishes to speak on any matter in which the senator has peculiarly or proprietary interest shall first declare the interest. Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether you heard the senator of Nyandarua saying that
Senator Newton.
The impeachment, and I really seek your indulgence, Senator.
Let the senator be heard in silence, please.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, it is on record that the senator has said that the deputy governor of Siaya is here, and the impeachment motion that is here for other issues that are not in the report. And he has declared that verbatim, that this impeachment motion is here on other issues other than the issues that are in the report. Mr. Speaker, I seek your indulgence. We must respect this House. In as much as people want to use this issue of impeachment of the deputy governor of Siaya as a theater for political contestation and punching back here and there, the nation is watching, Mr. Speaker. devolution is under threat, Mr. Speaker, if the House, such as the Senate...
Senator Eddie, let's save time. Your point of order is overruled. Proceed.
I know he wants to take advantage and debate, but Mr. Speaker, the point that I was making, and I would want to finish there, because we are speaking about procurement. If the governor of Siaya, because we are speaking about issues to do with procurement, if the governor of Siaya has bought a seat for his deputy for 1.1 million, how much more does it cost for the seat of the governor himself if the deputy governor is sitting on a 1.1, Mr. Speaker? On a county as disjointed as Siaya, Mr. Speaker, when people do not have medicine, Mr. Speaker, when people cannot have access to health, Mr. Speaker, when children cannot get...
Honorable senators, we need to make progress. Senator Methu, debate the report. Debate the report.
I am debating the report, Mr. Speaker, because, Mr. Speaker, and you know, Mr. Speaker, then we must also be careful. When we speak about...
Senator Methu.
Yes, sir.
Did you just say the chair should be...
I have said we must be careful. I never spoke about... I have never casted aspersions...
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, because we then we cannot run away from the question. A school is burning down and you are going for the deputy principal of that school. Where the principal of there is the one and is the CEO of that institution, Mr. Speaker. Responsibilities on issues to do with a disjointed procurement. How do you bring the deputy governor? And the person who has been vested with the responsibility of being the CEO of that particular county is the governor of that county, Mr. Speaker. Why then do you want to roll the ball to another person, Mr. Speaker? Finally, Mr. Speaker. Finally, Mr. Speaker, because our friends have spoken, Mr. Speaker. In my very last comment, Mr. Speaker, we must be careful. We must deal with this matter because Senate is a house that is supposed to protect the interest, the justice, the equity of every.
Senator Mogene.